myself.
Okay. Hi there. We are just a little bit early, giving everybody a chance to jump on. There's Kara. Hi, Kara. So we're just going to chit-chat about random things until it's actually time. What do you want to go for lunch after?
I don't know.
Do you like
what's good here?
Well, I've been to Ravinia 2 days in a row, so I should probably not go there again.
Not go there again. I went to Matchbox yesterday and had pizza, so I don't want pizza again.
What about Firebirds? Firebirds
What do they have?
Like, they have steak, they have salmon, they have like really good salads.
Okay.
Firebirds?
Firebirds
And then we can walk. And then we can feel like we're earning our lunch. Okay.
You
Let's look. We have some friends.
The volume's off on this, right?
Hi. I turned off the volume.
Okay.
Casey McPherson.
Hey, wait, we need glasses.
We need glasses to see you guys. Or Melissa can tell us who's here.
Okay.
This is the first time we've done this, so
I know.
just bear with us.
We practiced.
And we're a little crazy anyway.
We thought
Yes,
that
I
we
am.
would start early, right? We're still early, just to give everybody a chance to kind of get on, so we don't have that awkward, like, getting started thing.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, okay. Oh, look. Hi, Heather. Okay. Oh, it's so fun that you can see.
Yes, you can see who's joining.
I like that.
Hey guys, if you have anybody that you think would enjoy this, send them a direct message right now and tell them to get on it. So if you know anybody that struggles with social media in their real estate or lender business or even title business, have them hop on with us. If they're in the group already, they can join as well. So
Yes.
send them a direct message and invite them.
Okay. So it's noon.
Yay!
Do we start? Wait a second. No, this is fun. Okay. So hi, I'm Karen Cooper. This is my friend Kara Macdonald, and we are going to talk to you today about social media for real estate, which is really your area of expertise and a class that you teach a lot. We have a list of questions that folks were interested in and wanted to know about. So Kara is going to talk about a few things first, and then we're going to do some question and answer. So if you have specific questions that maybe we don't get to, please type them in the comments. I have Melissa Jack is here. She's like our producer.
Yes,
She's behind the scenes.
You can't see her.
Monitoring. So she will make a note of your questions and pass us a note, and then we will answer them for you live. So, Kara,
Yes.
it's all you.
Thank you.
Tell us some
Thank
stuff.
you. First of all, I don't like to call myself an expert because I've really only been doing social media for 3 years since I've been in my current role, and everything that I have learned has been through blogs, through YouTube, through books, through really watching and observing.
Yeah.
Yes, so I would call myself a social media guru. I love it, I understand it, and I love to pass on my knowledge about it and what I've learned and what I think works in real estate. Because since I've been in real estate for so long, it's just been the perfect, help me, the perfect
Fit.
marriage, whatever.
Oh, that's good.
So, yeah, so what I wanted to talk about, first of all, we have the flyer here, so I wanted to answer these questions first. The flyer says, are you interested in using social media for real estate but not sure where to start? So I really want to talk basic first. Obviously, you're on Facebook if you're in this group right now. You probably have a business page. If you don't, you really should have a business page. Facebook is the #1 place to be. Okay, if you're thinking, oh my goodness, I've heard things about Snapchat, I've heard things about Instagram. You know, every day there seems to be more and more things and more things to learn. So the #1 place you need to be, I don't care if you're 22 or 62, is Facebook.
Wow.
Okay. So she wants me to move over a little bit.
Okay. Is that good?
Yeah,
Or
it's
maybe
good.
we need
So-
to
Let's scooch back a little bit. Yeah,
that's better.
this is what we
This
were doing first.
is what we tested.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's better.
Okay, so that's a good point,
Yeah.
Kara, because one of the things that we were talking about that people talk about is there are so many different channels.
Yep.
And I can't be everywhere at one time.
You can't be. You can't be. You really need to, the first thing is figure out who you want to reach, okay? So there's 3 kinds of ways to do that, okay? Do you want to be somebody that focuses on a certain area? That's a geographic target. Okay, do you want to be somebody that focuses on a demographic? That would be a certain age range or a certain income range, okay? Or it could be a psychographic, which is similar values, similar attitudes, similar lifestyle. So an example of that would be maybe you want to focus on if you belong to a church and you really want to spend time kind of getting to know everybody at your church and letting them know that you're an agent, okay? So once you kind of figure out who you're trying to reach, then you decide, okay, where are they? Okay? So no matter what they say right now, I'm telling you, everybody's on Facebook. Facebook is the #1 place to be. The secondary place is going to be really determined by who you're trying to reach. Okay? So if you're younger agent trying to reach millennials and so forth, Instagram might be your choice. It could even be Snapchat, but I know that's a whole new thing that we're not going to talk about much today because it'll scare people away. But do you see what I mean? Like really trying to work backwards.
Right. So understanding who your audience is. Figuring out where they are, but knowing that Facebook is really the #1 place to be. And then maybe you have a secondary channel that you're sharing within. So then, and this was a question that someone had asked us, and I know I'm kind of jumping around.
No, it's fine.
What we said. So do you share the same content? So if Facebook is your primary, and then maybe Instagram is your secondary, or Twitter, do you share the exact same thing?
No.
No. Okay.
No. Would you go to Spain and speak German?
No.
Would you come here and expect everybody to understand Portuguese? No. It's the exact same thing. It's hard to It's hard to really learn the language of each channel or platform. But once you decide, I'm going to go all in on Facebook, I'm going to go all in on Instagram, it's like you're going to be on there and you're going to start getting a feel for what people do and what the language is. Okay? So the same things that work on Facebook are not going to work on Instagram and vice versa, or Twitter or Snapchat. So the first thing is to really figure out who you want to reach, and then decide what channels you're going to be on or platforms you're going to be on. Then learn the language. Take the time, try to get on there as often as possible. I know you have to sell real estate too, but really take the time and invest in learning the language. And then we can talk about avatars if you want next, but it's really a good segue.
Yeah,
so
that's great.
When you are trying to figure out who your target is, it's really good to actually write down who your ideal client is. And the best way to really do this is think about your last 6 transactions, 12 transactions, whatever. Who was your favorite person to work with? Okay? Do you really love those first-time home buyers? Do you love the vulnerability or the naivety about them, or do you really love working with downsizers or whatever it is? Thinking back again to this geographic, demographic, or psychographic, once you determine who you really want to work with, say, okay, let's get a little bit more specific. Is this person 30 to 40? Is this person married? Give the person a name. Make them come alive. Have this literally drawn out and hung somewhere in your office, so that every time you go to post anything on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, you are thinking, hey, would my avatar, who I've named Sarah, would Sarah want to read this?
Oh, interesting.
When you do this, it becomes so much easier to come up with things to post.
That's awesome.
The biggest challenge I hear people say is, I just don't know what to post. I don't know where to get content. I don't have time to create content or blog or video or whatever, which we'll talk about later, and I really want you to. But if you don't, having Sarah established or whoever, it's just like, okay, what would she like to read about today? Would she like to read about the parks in Loudoun County? Would she like to read about the commute from Fairfax to Arlington? Would she like to read about, if she's a stay-at-home mom, how to make that work with 2 young kids? It could be anything.
I love what you're saying. That's super smart. So basically, it's kind of like what we do. I mean, planning is people are afraid of that sometimes, but you are sort of planning. So because you have a direction, you set your profile of who, or your avatar, of who your audience is and who you want to attract, and then you're doing everything kind of moving, like it's like beginning with the end in mind, right? So like that is who you're trying to reach. So what is going to make sense to them? So I love that. That makes so much more sense.
So we were talking before about how you have experienced, worked with a lot of agents, having been in management and all that, and you say agents get overwhelmed easily. Yes. Right?
Yes.
So why do you think they get overwhelmed?
Well, they get overwhelmed, and I know I've experienced this for myself because there's so many options available. So specifically with social media, you've got multiple platforms available. So you've got so many options, there's so many things to do, and so then what happens is you get paralyzed and you don't do anything.
Yes.
And so, or you're so overwhelmed with all the different things, you try one thing here, there, and everywhere, but you're not doing anything consistently.
Yep.
And then that leads to frustration. So you send one postcard, or you do one post on Facebook, or you do one share on Instagram, and then you don't get anything from it. And then you're frustrated, and then you never want to go back and do it again.
Yep.
But instead, if you can hone that in, like you said, focus on that avatar, that person, and direct everything in that way, it gives you a path to follow. So that's super smart.
Yep. And one thing that I talk about a lot also is consistency and patience. This is not something that happens overnight.
Right.
Okay? First of all, organic business is the best kind.
Yes.
Okay? A lot of us, when we start in this business, there's not a lot of money to spend on mailing. It's expensive to farm a neighborhood or have giant client appreciation parties for clients you don't even have yet.
Yes.
But it's like, this is so much more authentic and real.
Yes.
But conversely, it takes time to get it to work for you. I say an average, if you do it well and consistently, you're going to look at least 6 months before you really see something happen.
Okay.
And like you said before, you're just planting seeds.
Planting seeds. I love planting seeds.
Yeah, so pick 1 or 2 things.
Yeah.
You can't do everything. You can't, if somebody asks you where you sell real estate, and even if you are licensed in Maryland, DC, and Virginia, or 5 other states, you can't just say, oh, I will help anybody that wants to buy or sell a home in Maryland, DC, or Virginia. Nobody's going to remember that. You need to have a mission statement, a value statement, this is what I do for people in Leesburg, Virginia. This is how I work with this kind of person and this kind of buyer. You know, of course I'll help anybody, but this is really who I enjoy. That's memorable, okay? So if I'm talking to somebody at a networking event, trying to get my message across, trying to be memorable, I'm going to know exactly who. I'm going to describe Sarah.
Yes, that's right.
And then they're going to remember, oh, there was an agent that liked to work with first-time home buyers in blah, blah, blah. It's just memorable. And if you have a passion to put on top of your business, such as, you know, maybe you have a nephew that has autism, or maybe your mom passed away from breast cancer, and you kind of weave that charitable aspect into your business as well, even more memorable.
Yes, that's so smart. Last week, I went to a class with Michael J. Mayer, who's the author of 7 Levels of Communication.
Oh, really?
He came to Pearson Smith and did a great talk last week, and that was one of the things that he was talking about, like the idea, I feel like we're getting a little off track, but you're giving, so the idea is you're giving referrals, and then people are giving you referrals, kind of reciprocating, but the idea was you needed to be able to explain what you're looking for. If you ever been to a B&I meeting, they always ask you to say, who is your ideal client? What are you looking for? And so you need to be able to understand that for your business at large, but specifically with your social media.
Yep, absolutely. And I don't think that's off track. I think that, I think too often we are looking at this whole thing with the wrong glasses on, okay? We're like, I want to make Facebook work for me so that I get leads from it. You need to shift that whole attitude. You need to shift that whole perspective. Put on a different pair of glasses and say, how can I give value to my audience on Facebook so that they then want to work with me and think of me when it's time to buy or sell.
Absolutely.
You need to be going above and beyond to give as much value as you can, as often as you can, okay? When somebody asks for a painter in one of the groups that have nothing to do with real estate, you need to chime in and say, I know a great painter. And it would be even better if you said, I just used him on my last listing. Because then you're just kind of pinging just a little bit without being salesy.
Absolutely. I do that all the time, and that is so huge because it helps you to keep top of mind. You then become the resource. I have a couple of groups that I target that are sort of my farm or my community, and so I have notifications set up. I don't have time to check Facebook all day long. But I have notifications set up specifically for those 2 groups, and so I get a notification every time somebody asks a question or posts something. And if it is something that I can help with, I need a plumber, I need a roofer, who do you like for granite, whatever, then I know I can quickly go there and comment and say, my go-to is so-and-so, and I always do that tie back. They just helped one of my sellers who we just sold their house. So,
genius.
Right, so it's that kind of reaffirming without being super salesy or cheesy, which none of us really like to be. Okay. I love that. It's good.
So, another thing is that we don't have time. We don't think we have time. This is a tough one. You know, I know time management in general. I think agents are a little ADHD or ADD. You know, I know I am because I'm so creative. My brain is always going. and it's very difficult for me to sit down and do one thing for 1 hour or 2 hours. I don't really have an answer for that. You just have to kind of figure out what works for you.
Yes.
For me, it works for me to be on all the time.
Yeah.
I know that you guys can't be on all the time. When I'm, in between just now, I had 5 minutes just now, it's top of mind for me now.
Right.
So I jump on and I say
Yeah.
what I'm doing or whatever
Right.
to reinforce my brand.
Yeah.
You might have to put it on your calendar.
Yeah.
You might have to say, on Sunday I'm going to sit down and schedule out some posts. And by the way, you can schedule
Yes.
your posts on Facebook.
Yes.
We actually have a question about that.
Okay.
Fire away. I need to see what it says. Okay, I see you post daily on Empowering Women. Do you post daily or schedule to post at the same time? That's a great question. On Empowering Women, I do post daily. I think maybe only one time I ever scheduled something, and it was because I was on vacation. But for me, it makes sense. I'm up early. It's usually when my brain is most fresh, and so I do post that daily. However, when I'm posting on our team's Facebook business page, I do tend to schedule that stuff just because I like to batch things. So one of the things that I do a lot on our Facebook business page for our team is periodically, a couple times a week, maybe not that often, we will do a review post.
Okay.
And so it's easy for me to sit down and spend 30 minutes and schedule out the next month worth of review posts because it's like I'm in the groove and it's quick and simple. So that works really well for me to schedule.
Yep.
But something that's kind of more organic and fresh, I like to do. Kind of
Yeah, and nobody can see that you have scheduled.
Yes.
So I know sometimes if you have like the free version of Hootsuite, it'll show up that it's posted by Hootsuite.
Yeah.
But for Facebook, when you schedule it, and if you don't know how to, there's just a little drop down button on the right side of where you post. You just click it and there's a clock, it'll say schedule, and then you can schedule it for whenever. And nobody can see. No, there's not going to be any chance that they know that you've done that. Not that it matters anyway, but some people will worry about that.
That's a great question.
And I also want to talk a little bit about the Facebook business page because a lot of people don't understand.
That was one of our questions, is should I
yeah,
have a
the one-
Facebook business
okay.
page or a personal page or both?
Okay, so once you have figured out your Sarah or your avatar, you should have a business page, okay? It's not enough if you work for Jones Realty to just be posting on Jones Realty's website or Jones Realty's Facebook page. I am a personal believer of having your own brand separate from your company.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why I have sub-branded myself Your Favorite Title Lady. I have my own website. I basically have a channel, a Facebook page for that and for my company, a Twitter account for that and for my company. I know that's a lot, but remember, this is my job. I know you guys don't have to have all that or do all that. And but if you've got 1 or 2 channels that you're going to be on, it's possible. It's possible to do that. Anyway, Facebook business page. You absolutely need one. Okay. It needs to be fully set up. Make sure that your phone number's in there, your website's in there, your address is in there. You should have a really nice cover photo, okay? You can make these on Canva. You can farm this piece out. There are tons of graphic designers in this area. Go into one of these groups that we've been talking about and say, are there any stay-at-home mommies who like to do graphic design? I'll pay $50 for a couple of banners, whatever. There is a solution for everything, okay? That's how there is. So don't give up. Once you have your page fully set up, okay, nice cover, nice profile picture. If it's a team, you want it. The back page should really be the team, and the profile should be your logo. Okay. Now, getting into what you post on your business page, I think you should post at least once a day, no less than 4 times a week.
Wow.
Who you invite to that page, okay, is crucial. I am so tired of agents inviting other agents and other industry professionals to like their Facebook business page. It's quality over quantity. You do not want anybody in real estate liking your page. It does not matter how many likes you have, okay?
Please tell us why, because I know you've said this before, and there's a reason. There's a reason why.
Well, I use this analogy. Would you rather go into a room with 10 buyers ready to go out with you right now and write a contract, or would you rather go into a room with 100 people who want nothing to do with you and nothing to do with your business?
You want the 10 buyers.
You want the 10 buyers.
Right.
Those people are going to interact with you on your page if this all works together. Now follow me here. You're inviting your avatars, okay? So you set up your avatar.
Yeah.
Now you're going over here and you're inviting your avatars. You're inviting past clients, potential clients, neighbors, church friends, people like that, okay? People that might use you in the future. Then you're posting stuff that they're going to read and engage with, okay? That little reach thing at the bottom of each post, it measures when you're on your phone scrolling and you stop to read something, that's the smallest weight of engagement, okay? Stopping to read something. If you stop for 3 seconds or more, Facebook measures that it goes into the formula, to the equation for the reach. The next one is a like. The even better one is a comment.
Okay.
And the best
golden,
one, the golden, is a share.
Okay.
So, this is what happens, and I'm almost done.
Yeah.
Once you post, okay, so if you post once a day, you're posting stuff not necessarily real estate related. The second day, again, maybe posting about an event at the school. Third day, posting something about the parks. Fourth day, posting something about something else in the community.
Yes.
Fifth day, you jump in there and you say, hey guys, I'm having an open house this weekend. Here's what happens. The first 4 posts are going to get engagement because they're not salesy.
Right.
Then
it's value.
And Facebook reads that as, oh, people are interacting with her page. I'm going to now, Facebook, show her page to more people. So it's this weird ping-pongy thing, okay? So once you get down to the salesy post that you really want everybody to see that you're doing all this work for, it gets shown to more people. It gets shown
more. Interesting. So how about, and we do have a question about analytics that I'll ask next, but so how does that work? So you're inviting people, you know, I do tend to friend a lot of my clients on Facebook usually after the transaction, but what about before we're friends? Can I invite them via email address, or how does that?
You can, but I mean, that's something, I don't do that just because I mean, I would do that. I wouldn't not do that. Yeah, I mean, one thing that I've thought about doing and telling agents to do is after the transaction, some people aren't comfortable with friending everybody. They really want to kind of keep things separate, which if we have time, let's talk about that too. But if you're not comfortable friending people on Facebook ever, which I hope you get over that a little bit being an agent. But if you want to send afterwards if you've had a great transaction, you need to be asking for a review. And you need to be going ahead and taking that opportunity to say, would you really mind, would you mind liking my Facebook page? It would really help me. I'm trying to build my presence. Would you mind writing a review on my Facebook page? That's money too. That's
awesome. You know, I do that. That's part of my one of my closing activities is I send out an email and I say thank you again and I ask for a review. And I ask for a review on Zillow and or my Facebook business page. Now, one thing I don't do, which actually I love that you're doing that, what you just said, is even if they're not comfortable giving a review, not everybody wants to do that, it would be great to say, or if you would just like my Facebook business page. So that's a great thing.
Yeah, because everybody that likes your page, they have 5 or 6 friends. That are just like them. That Facebook is showing
it
them.
To.
Oh, Karen just liked this post on ABC Real Estate. Then you might just grab somebody's attention.
Interesting. Okay, that's great. I love that. So we have another question in that vein. How much do we care about our analytics? What are your thoughts on 3,000 views on an ad but only 60 click-throughs?
Okay, so this really gets into a lot deeper with boosting and measuring that. That really depends on your specific plan and intentions and budget. Okay. I tell people not to boost anything until it gets at least 50% organic reach against your likes.
Wow. Okay.
Because it's all exponential. If I pay $5 to boost a post that's reached 5 people, I'm only going to get 20 additional reach. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If I have 250 likes on my page and 125 people have engaged with my post, and I pay $5 to boost that post, 125 times 5 is 625. Your money goes so much further. Okay, that's why it's so important that you really stick to this avatar and posting only what your avatar wants to read. Because the second you deviate from that, you're going to lose all the traction. You know, you've got to be consistent with this.
Consistency.
And then, okay, so if 3,000 views is great, but I need a little bit more information to really answer this. I mean, it depends on how many how many likes you have on your page. 60 click-throughs is really good, but did you convert anybody? That's the real question. What are you trying to accomplish with this ad is what it is, and did you accomplish it? So that would be the real question. I need a little bit more information. I mean, 60 click-throughs is
Yeah.
great. If you're trying to get people to your website,
Right.
trying to get traffic to your website, I think
Right.
60 click-throughs is great.
Okay, that's good. We have a couple other questions. What is your experience in posting Facebook ads? Do you currently advertise on Facebook? If so, what channels do you use to do this? So advertising on Facebook, I'm assuming maybe you're talking about advertising listings. We do advertise on Facebook. It's actually part of my listing presentation that I promote to sellers, is I talk about how we do target ads. And we kind of what you're talking about with the avatar, I do the same thing, and tell me if I'm right or wrong. When it comes to listings, we will boost that post or boost that ad for that listing based on who we think the target audience is going to be, and using keywords that we think matches up with that. So for example, it's maybe not just somebody who it's maybe not just Loudoun County real estate. Our keywords might be birthing in or wedding venue. If the buyer that we think for this particular property is maybe a new family or whatever, it might be vineyard. It might, it could be homestead. It could be equestrian, whatever.
Yep.
So I do, and that's how. Do you want to add on to anything with that, or are you?
I don't do a lot of boosting. I boost my videos. That's why you guys see my face everywhere. But that's intentional. Like, it's branding for me. So the more that you guys see my face, the more that you're going to feel like you know me and trust me to use me for your closings.
Yeah.
So that's my goal. So see how I worked kind of backwards there?
Yes.
If your goal is to reach those people, absolutely that's a great way to do it. And if you don't know how to do that, we can't show you here how to do that as far as targeting, but it's so simple. Like, everybody on the left side of their Facebook regular wall, there's an ads manager. Just click on that, play with it a little bit, let Karen or I know if you have any questions, but you'll see a bunch of boxes. You get to choose age groups, income, interests. You can even hone in on a certain area. So again, going back to what I said here about geographic targets, demographic targets, psychographic, Facebook's done all this for you. It's kind of scary. They watch us all the time. You have no idea. They have some robot looking at everything that we post. They know when we're about to move. They know when we're renters. They know when we change jobs, even before we change jobs on Facebook. So even though it's weird, think about it, how powerful that information is from our perspective.
Yes, it's huge.
The chance to reach people, the opportunity to reach people for $5, $10, $100. What's $100 compared to what you would spend farming? Is amazing.
Absolutely. It's so interesting, and I use this story when I'm talking to sellers about it. It's the same thing. Like, how many times have you been shopping, right? Like, I'm shopping and I'm looking at this bag and I love this handbag, and then next thing you know, I'm on a different website and there's the purse, like right there. And how did they know? Like, so it's the same thing.
They track you.
All right. So we have another question in the same vein. If you pay to boost a post, does it reach the same people that are on your Facebook business page? Also, how do you re-invite people to like your business page? So I guess you've invited them, maybe they didn't act on it, and you want to re-invite them.
Okay, I probably wouldn't re-invite anybody.
Okay.
You don't want to be annoying.
Okay.
If you do, one time maybe, you just click it to where if you look at the list of people that you've invited that haven't accepted it, you can unclick it and click it again.
Okay.
But again,
maybe
one time. Don't if they don't want to like your. I had somebody kind of get mad at me one time for but that's personal and preference and whatever. Right. So I think I had invited them a couple times and they got frustrated. But anyway, if you pay to boost a post, does it reach the same people that are on your Facebook business page?
Great question.
Depends. It does. If they've already liked it, first of all, Facebook's not going to tell us all their secrets. Yeah. Generally speaking, it boosts it to people that are just like them. Okay. So again, back to these abilities that Facebook has to know us. If I've got 10 people on my page that are my Sarahs, my avatars, Sarah's got 5 friends just like her, usually, it's like, statistically speaking, and it's going to boost it to those people. So you're not going to be randomly boosting it to people that make no sense, because that doesn't work for Facebook. Sure. Like, Facebook is a business. They want to keep people on Facebook because then they want to keep people engaged because it's a business.
Yes.
and it wants to continue to charge us to pay for these things.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't make sense to just boost it and it not go to people that make sense.
Right. Well, and we were talking about that today because that's kind of the whole Facebook, because they are a business and it's their thing, but it's also important for us to know too. I mean, I am very intentional with my feed, and we were talking about this before, unfollowing people. And so, you don't want to be that annoying business that's always posting something that people don't want to see.
Yeah, can we talk about that?
We can. And then they unfollow you. And then, you've lost that opportunity altogether. So, yeah, you want to talk about that?
I do. One of my biggest things is be yourself on Facebook. Be authentic. Be kind. Be we've all seen when people aren't, and it's not nice. And we all know this. I mean, we learn this stuff in kindergarten, but for some reason behind a computer we get empowered to be mean.
Yes.
Not everybody, but some people. And in addition to that, we like to brag. We like to talk about how well we're doing, which is okay sometimes. I mean, everybody deserves a little pat on the back sometimes. But generally speaking, you really want to be your true self and be genuine and authentic, because that's who people are going to want to work with, okay? If you're out there posting how great business is all day, every day, or even 2 or 3 times a week is too much, you're going to turn off potential customers. They're not going to want to work with people, or they're going to think you're too busy. And they're not going to want to reach out to you at all.
That was one of the things that we were talking about earlier is, we've all seen it. We've maybe even done it ourselves, been the agent who says, oh, I'm so excited. I have, 10 contracts this month or whatever. But what the message that you're sending out, yes, it's okay, I'm successful and I'm doing a great job. But the other message it's sending is I'm really busy. And if your goal is to position yourself as their real estate resource, and that's really how you organically grow your business, you're kind of turning those people off. Oh my gosh, she's so busy. I don't want to bother her. I just have a question about changing out my granite, and she, I don't want to bug her with that. And really, that's what you want. You want them to bug you with that. And so sometimes you can.
You never know what that conversation's going to lead to.
You never know what it's going to lead to. So that's big.
Just don't turn people off, and be authentic.
Yep.
Stop bragging. And I don't know what the point in telling us all that you have 10 contracts.
Yeah.
I don't know what the point in that is. You really. To get into a therapy session here, you need to look at that. Like, why do you need to tell people that you've got 10 things under contract?
I don't know.
Onward.
Okay, onward and upward. So we have another question. Any experience with business manager for Facebook? I don't know what that is.
Okay, I just did this a few days ago. I'm sorry that I'm not prepared to answer this as well as I would like to be, but I'm not seeing a big difference, but I have not dove into it hugely. I converted and you just go to business.facebook.com. There's some additional advantages, and maybe we can do a follow-up thing here once a month or something. You guys need to let us know if you want us to do that. But we'll dive into that a little bit more next time when I have a chance to learn about it, which is what I do with everything that I teach you. I gotta go learn it, and I'll be back.
That's awesome. So we are right about at the 30-minute mark, which was our goal.
Okay.
Let's talk about. We have one more question that we haven't gotten to, which was. Kind of that frustration, and this is across everything. This is not just in social media, but I hear this frequently in everything that we do in real estate. I've been posting for 30 days and I haven't gotten any leads.
Yep.
So can you talk to that?
Okay,
phenomenon?
so I went to Inman Connect in August, which if you don't know what that is, it's a conference that Inman News puts on twice a year, once in New York and once in San Francisco. And this really cool thing was brought to my attention by Boomtown, Boomtown.
Yep.
They had a learning lab in one part of the conference, and it was the most powerful thing I think I've ever seen, because it really talked about this. You're not going to see a return on your time on Facebook the way that you are used to seeing a return on dollars that you spend in print advertising, or you're not going to be able to track your leads as well, so it can be discouraging. What happens is there's this web that we create, okay? You might have a Facebook group like you do, or you might be a part of a Facebook group or active in a Facebook group. You've also been doing the Facebook page that I just talked about just now. You're also, maybe you network a couple times a week. Maybe you do send an email to your clients once a month or twice a month or something. All these things kind of work together.
Yes.
If you're not doing a few things right now, you're not going to get the same. It needs to be focused.
Yes.
It can't be 100 things.
Right.
It's got to be 4 or 5 things regularly.
Yes.
And then you'll start seeing the traction and the
Right.
leads come in.
Yes.
The leads are going to come in by somebody's going to post, I need an agent on a Facebook page or a business or a group, and 5 people are going to chime in and say, oh, I've seen Karen Cooper, blah, blah, blah. And you know why they say that? Because Karen has been there providing those painter referrals,
Yes.
providing those whatever. It's just she was
Yes.
there. She's
Yes.
been there. She's been present, planting her seeds.
Yes.
The seed grows when somebody asks over here
Yep.
at a coffee or a lunch or on Facebook.
Yep.
So very hard to measure that.
Yes.
I've asked people, hey, how did you come about using me? It'll be, oh, well, we've been friends on Facebook for 2 years, and then I was having lunch with my friend over here, and she uses you, and then, oh, and then I get your email too. So it's a combination of things.
Yes.
So back to this, it's this thing that I learned at Inman. This periodic table of elements of marketing. This thing is genius. If you want me to send you a copy of it, just let Melissa know and I'll send a copy of it to you. So the marketing people at Boomtown put this thing together, and it's really segmented into all these different things that you need to be, or you could be doing. You pick a few. You pick, maybe you do some print advertising, maybe you do, you sponsor a little league team, maybe you have a Facebook group, maybe you send an email, maybe you've got great branding, whatever it is, it's 5 or 6 different things that you are doing well, and you're crushing it, okay? All these things coming together is now the new marketing and the new way of generating those leads.
Yeah, I love that. You know, I love what you were saying. Several things that you said that I really liked there. We were talking about the mentions on Facebook.
Yep.
And I have experienced that in some of the groups that I participate in and that I get the notifications from. And so you always have to reward the behavior. And we talk about that with referrals a lot. Buffini talks about that. So when I get that experience, and there was one recently in one of my groups, and I got like 16 tags in this group. So what I did is I made sure that I sent a note to every one of those people.
That's amazing.
Sometimes when that happens, and I have people who will do that frequently, I will include a gift card in the note. But in the note, I will always follow up and say, you tagged me in that, request for a realtor in such and such group, and I so appreciate that. You have no idea how much those mentions really help my business. And
that's
so
amazing.
It connects the dots for them. And it connects the dots for me, and so it's really big. Everything that we do in business, whether it's on social media, whether it's a postcard mailer, you can't do it just one time or 2 times or sometimes even 10 times.
Yep.
It's a combination of what you do. I learned this so beautifully. I used to work for Sherry Wilson many, many years ago, and she taught that really, really well. You do things consistently, and what we would hear over and over again from our clients is, my gosh, I see you everywhere. I see you everywhere. And then what happens is they don't necessarily know where they saw you and where they didn't see you. So things can become hard to track because maybe they saw you on Facebook, but then they were on Zillow and they saw your ad on Zillow, or then they drove by and they saw your sign, and so you don't know what's going to prompt them to call. Yep. And even though you should always ask, you don't know what that last thing was that really prompted it.
Yeah,
So
and
don't give up.
it's going to be a combination of things, and don't give up, and be consistent and patient.
Yes.
Yeah.
Melissa, I see you writing. We're getting ready to wrap up. Do we have
just a list of people who want the...
Oh, perfect. Okay, awesome. Okay. So our goal was 30 minutes. We're at like 36. I think that's perfect.
Yep.
So Kara, tell us where we can find you.
Well, I am your favorite title lady, and I do closings for Maryland, D.C., and Virginia. I work for Pruitt Title, and we can do remote settlements, and we're just fantastic. We're a really small company, and the way that I meet agents and build my business is this way, through doing classes and such. And my next class is on Snapchat, and I'm teaching that in Fairfax at First Heritage Mortgage on Germantown Road. We've only got 15 seats available. And I'd love for you to, again, let Melissa know or send me an email at kmacdonald@pruitt-title.com.
A lot of people want it.
Okay, awesome. And we hope that this has been really helpful for you.
Where can we find you?
Oh, where can you find me? Okay,
Yes.
You can email me. Of course, you can message me through Facebook, but you can also email me at Karen@goplatinumgroup.com. We would love to get your feedback on what you think about this. I would love to make this kind of a regular thing, maybe having Kara come in, other guests come in, and talk about the things that are important to you and how we can help you help your business. So that's it. We're off to lunch.
Awesome. Bye.